I was looking in the mirror the other morning, which is always dangerous territory, I know.
Ah,
And I just had this moment of pure um, frustration. It wasn't even about looking old, really. It was just that my skin looked tired
mm.
and angry.
Angry is a very specific but very relatable description.
It is, but if you have sensitive skin, you know exactly what I mean. It's that redness, that reactive feeling.
Hmm.
And the frustration comes from feeling like I'm doing everything right, you know? I've tried the lasers, I've bought the serums that cost more than my car
With
payment,
skin boosters,
the skin boosters. And let me guess what you're going to say.
you get a result for about a week, maybe 2. You get that glow, you feel like you finally cracked the code, and then,
Back to square one.
yeah,
Or worse, I've had treatments that were meant to be rejuvenating that just made my skin completely freak out. It's like,
yeah.
I'm trying to help you. Why are you fighting me?
It's an incredibly common cycle. We sometimes call it the hope and disappointment loop in the clinic.
Oh, that's depressing. But accurate.
But honestly, that reaction, that failure to hold on to a result, it points to a really fundamental misunderstanding of what's happening biologically.
How so?
We tend to treat skin like a wall that needs to be painted. If it looks bad, we just, slap a new coat of something on it.
Buff it, peel it, paint it.
Exactly. But the actual problem isn't the paint. The problem is that the workers who build the wall have gone on strike.
I love a good labor union analogy, so my cells are quiet quitting on me.
Essentially, yes. This is the core concept of senescence. As we age or when we have chronic inflammation like rosacea, our cells kind of enter a resting state.
Okay.
They stop making collagen. They stop repairing the skin barrier. They stop talking to each other. So you can laser the surface all you want, but if the factory floor is empty, nothing permanent is going to change.
Which brings us to today's deep dive. We're looking at a stack of research on a treatment called MCT Metacell. And I have to admit, when I first read the brief, I was skeptical.
It does sound a bit like science fiction.
A little bit. The premise, as I understand it, is that we stop trying to find the magic ingredient in a bottle.
Right.
Instead, we take the healing stuff from our own blood, and I'm using this term loosely, we cook it to supercharge it,
That's a good way to put it, actually.
and then we put it back in to wake up those lazy, striking cells.
That is the layman's summary, yes. It's a shift from just treating the skin to regenerating it using your own biological machinery.
And that's our mission for this deep dive, right?
Yeah.
To really get how this works.
Exactly. Because we're not just talking about wrinkles here. We're talking about treating actual skin diseases, rosacea, atopic dermatitis, things that usually get you turned away from the heavy-duty treatments.
Right. But before we get into the solution, I want to back up a bit. Because if I open my phone right now, I'm just bombarded with one word.
Let me guess. Exosomes.
Exosomes. Everyone is selling them. My dermatologist, my esthetician, influencers.
It is the buzzword of the moment. And for good reason, exosomes are powerful. They're basically signaling molecules. Think of them like the envelopes that cells use to send mail to each other.
Okay, so if they're so great and they're already on the market, why do we need this MCT thing? Why not just buy the jar of exosomes off the shelf?
This is where we run into what I call the stranger problem.
The stranger problem. Sounds ominous.
Well, it can be. Most of those commercial exosome products you see, the ones in the fancy bottles or the ones they microneedle in at a spa, they're allogeneic,
Which is the medical term for.
derived from a different individual. Usually they come from donor stem cells.
Wait a second. So I'm putting someone else's biological material on my face.
Correct. And while the science is promising, and it often works, there is a risk. Your body is incredibly smart. It has a security system, your immune system, that checks the ID of everything that enters.
And if the ID doesn't match?
If it recognizes those proteins as foreign, as not self, it can launch an attack. We call that an immune rejection reaction.
And in skincare, that means.
It doesn't usually mean anaphylactic shock, but it might mean you get acne breakouts, a lot of redness, or inflammation.
Which is so ironic, isn't it? You're paying all this money to calm your skin down, and you might be starting a war because your body thinks it's being invaded.
Precisely. And that's the gamble you take with allogeneic or stranger exosomes. You just don't know if your body will accept the delivery.
And there was another thing in the research, a legal issue. It mentioned that you can't actually put them where they need to go.
Ah, yes. This is the dirty little secret of the industry right now.
Ah.
In many places, commercial donor exosomes are classified for topical use only. They cannot legally be injected into the dermis.
So let me get this straight. The problem, the aging, the lazy cells, that's all happening deep in the skin.
Deep in the dermis, yes.
And I'm only allowed to rub this stuff on the surface.
Exactly. Or maybe use a little roller to push it in a tiny bit. But your skin is a barrier. Its entire job is to keep things out. So you're just applying these expensive exosomes on top. You have a massive delivery problem.
You're not getting the ingredients to the factory floor.
It's like ordering a pizza and the delivery guy leaves it on your roof.
It's technically at the right address, but it's not very helpful.
Not helpful at all. You need the nutrients in the kitchen, not on the shingles.
Okay, so that sets the stage perfectly. We have stranger exosomes that might cause a reaction, and we can't even inject them deep enough. So enter the hero, MCT Metacell. How does this solve that stranger problem?
Well, the key is in the classification. It's an autologous procedure.
Meaning from the self.
From the self. We start by drawing your own blood. Because it's your own genetic material, the risk of an immune rejection reaction is, for all intents and purposes, 0.
Your security system checks the ID, sees it's you, and just opens the door.
Opens the door wide. And because it's your blood, a blood product, not a cosmetic drug, it can be directly injected into the deep dermis.
Okay, so you're planting the active ingredients right where they're needed.
Planting versus painting. That's a great distinction.
But hang on. I've had PRP before. Platelet-rich plasma. That's also my own blood. They spin it, they inject it, the whole vampire facial thing. Is this just a fancy rebranding of that?
That is the most common question, and the answer is a hard no. This is where it gets really interesting. Standard PRP is just separation. You spin the blood, take the good stuff, put it back in.
Right.
MCT Metacell adds a second, absolutely crucial step.
Yeah.
Activation.
This is the cooking part I was talking about.
We call it the secret sauce, but yes.
Right.
So here's the process. You draw the blood, you centrifuge it to get that middle layer, the buffy coat, that's packed with all the good cells.
Okay.
But instead of injecting it right away, you place that material into a special MCT device.
And what's this device doing?
It creates a very specific environment. It mimics body temperature, but then it hits the cells with specific wavelengths of LED light and some low-level heat.
I saw a note in the research about a Korean cooking term, murium. Something about steaming rice.
Right. In Korean cooking, it's that final stage where you let the rice sit in its own heat to perfectly finish. You need that steam time. But biologically, what's happening here is much more intense than just steaming rice.
Yeah, let's dig into that. Because shining a light on blood sounds a little woo-roo.
It does, but it's not. What the light and heat are actually doing is stressing the cells out.
We're stressing them out on purpose.
Yes. Think about exercise. You stress your muscles to make them stronger. When we expose these immune cells and platelets to this specific light and heat, we're simulating a crisis. We're tricking the cells into thinking there's a major injury.
So the cells basically panic.
In a controlled way, yes.
Yeah.
They go into survival mode. This kicks their mitochondria, the cell's power plants, into overdrive. And, most importantly, it triggers a massive release of heat shock proteins and growth factors.
So they're dumping their entire arsenal.
They're essentially screaming, "We are under attack! Deploy everything we have to save the ship." So instead of injecting a cell that's just sort of floating around, you're injecting one that is geared up for war and loaded with ammunition.
You're activating the payload before you deliver it.
Exactly. And the data on this it's just wild.
Okay, let's get into the numbers. Because better is vague. How much more stuff are we actually getting compared to regular old PRP?
So when you compare this activated MCT material to standard PRP, the growth factors increase by about 3 times. ATP synthesis, that cell energy, doubles or triples.
Oh, sorry, impressive.
But the headline number, the one that really matters, is the exosome count.
This was the number that made me double-check the transcript.
It is staggering. This activation process produces approximately 300 billion exosomes
300 billion.
per 1 cc of fluid.
In a tiny little 1 cc syringe.
It's an army. Remember, in standard PRP, the exosome count is tiny because the cells aren't activated to release them yet. Here you have 300 billion messengers ready to go.
And just to remind everyone who might have zoned out during biology class, what happens when those 300 billion messengers hit my tired, quiet-quitting skin cells?
They bang on the door. They transfer RNA, proteins, and lipids that all scream one instruction: regenerate. They force those dormant cells to wake up, start making collagen, and repair the skin barrier. It's a massive, coordinated wake-up call.
So we have the mechanism. We're tricking our blood into super mode. So who is this actually for? Because we started the whole show talking about sensitive skin.
And this is where MCT Metacell really shines. compared to, say, a Fraxel laser or a harsh peel.
Right.
If you have a damaged skin barrier, so conditions like atopic dermatitis, severe facial flushing, or rosacea, you usually can't do those aggressive treatments. They just make you worse.
Because a laser is literally a controlled burn to force repair. If you're already inflamed, that's just adding fuel to the fire.
Exactly. But MCT Metacell is inherently anti-inflammatory. Because you're injecting those massive quantities of activated healing factors, it doesn't just stimulate collagen. It actively calms the immune response. It reduces that redness significantly.
So it's for the people who are usually turned away from the med spa.
It's practically designed for them.
Yeah.
It rebuilds the barrier so the skin stops freaking out. It heals the disease first.
I'm shallow. Let's say I don't have rosacea. I just have fine lines and my skin looks tired. Is this for me?
Absolutely. I mean, if it can heal a disease, it can certainly handle a fine line. It improves pore size, skin texture, neck wrinkles, which are notoriously hard to treat.
Oh, neck wrinkles are the worst.
They are. And even the backs of hands.
The research mentioned one other application that surprised me. It wasn't about skin, it was hair.
Yes, alopecia and general hair thinning.
How does that even work? Is it the same idea?
Fundamentally, yes. A hair follicle that has stopped producing hair is very similar to a skin cell that has stopped producing collagen. It's dormant. It's quiet quitting.
So you inject the super blood directly into the scalp.
Right into the thinning areas. And those 300 billion exosomes signal the follicle stem cells to reactivate. It pushes the hair from the resting phase back into the growth phase.
And I assume it helps with scalp inflammation too.
Yes, if your hair loss is driven by inflammation, which is very common, it treats that root cause as well.
It really does seem like a master key for regeneration. I have to be the skeptic for a minute.
You're looking for the catch.
I am looking for the pain because you said inject. You did not say rub with a feather.
There's no way around that. And I appreciate that the source material is very honest about it. It is not a painless procedure.
I figured.
You are injecting fluid into the dermis, which creates pressure. And pressure equals pain.
I've had scalp injections before. They are spicy.
Spicy is a very polite way to put it. It hurts. But because it's a medical procedure, there are management protocols. You'll get a strong numbing cream, local anesthesia blocks.
And the notes mention something called air knocks.
Yes. For people who are really needle phobic or just have a low pain tolerance, air knocks is a great option. It's a breathing anesthesia, a mix of nitrous oxide and oxygen.
So laughing gas.
Pretty much. It doesn't knock you out, but it makes you feel very relaxed and distant from the sensation. You know it's happening, but you just don't really care.
Okay, like having a couple of margaritas before your appointment.
A similar effect, but much safer, and it wears off almost instantly.
And what about downtime? If I look like I just went 12 rounds in a boxing ring, I can't go to work.
That's the upside of it being your own blood. The body absorbs it very quickly. You'll have little bumps where the fluid was injected. We call it embossing.
Embossing, okay.
But that usually goes down within 24 hours. You might have some tiny bruises from the needle, but generally you can go about your life the next day. It's nothing like a CO2 laser where you're hiding for a week.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this all up. The current market is full of these stranger exosomes.
Right.
They're expensive, they might cause a reaction, and you can't even get them deep into the skin where they need to be.
That's the status quo.
And the alternative, MCT Metacell, uses our own blood to get around all the safety issues and the legal delivery problems.
And crucially, uses that cooking step, the LED and heat activation, to turn a standard blood draw into a high-potency regenerative serum.
300 billion exosomes. I'm still stuck on that number.
It's a game changer.
It really feels like a philosophical shift, doesn't it? We spend so much time looking for the solution out there. We want the rare orchid from the Amazon, or snail slime, or some chemical from a lab.
We've been conditioned to think the answer has to be on a shelf somewhere.
Exactly. But this suggests that the most powerful, high-tech, custom-tailored anti-aging serum in the world isn't in a store. It's been circulating inside your own veins this whole time.
It has. It just needs a little bit of light, a little bit of heat,
And a wake-up call to get to work.
a little pressure to perform.
I think we can all relate to that.
We certainly can.
Thank you so much. This was a fantastic breakdown, a true deep dive.
My pleasure.
And for everyone listening, thank you for joining us. We'll see you on the next one.